Of course, they were right next to me.
All right, so we will start off. Let's see. I'm going to go through our normal. Go to.
Okay, you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's a little low, but I can make adjustments here if I need to.
Is that better?
That's about the same.
About the same.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure we have good sound. Is it better? Was it better sound before?
It was louder, let's put it that way. I mean, the sound's okay. It was just
All right, we'll just not we'll just not mess with it.
Yeah, that's fine. This is definitely louder. I mean, it has a little bit of the echo because of the room, but you know what?
Sure.
It's very, very clear though. I can hear you. So
Okay, let's go with that. I couldn't find the headphones, and I remember they're right here next to me, so I tried them in, and
I got you.
that didn't work either.
Gotcha. Oh, you know what? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the H&M Show. This is Michael, and again, no Heather. No, it's all good. Heather had something planned tonight, so I went out and found a guest to bring on tonight and talk about that in just a second. Every week, Heather always asks me, she said, Michael, what does H&M stand for? This week, H&M stands for Help and Amazing. I'm leaving off the A because this is amazing. It actually is amazing. I love it. This is so cool. I just love this. I just wish I could afford it. We're going to be talking about Pixelbooks. Okay. And to help me do that, I brought in, and I'm going to show him right now. This is Benjamin. Benjamin, say hello to everyone and tell everybody, first of all, I know everybody's going to want to know, how do you say your last name?
It's Perlmutter.
Okay. It's just like it sounds. I mean, you just look at it, it's so simple. I have to do that though. I have to do that because I know everybody gives you a hard time about that, I'm sure.
Oh, it's all good.
And hey, look, I have on the screen too, those of you that are watching, now on screen, you're going to see his Google Plus, where you can find him on Google Plus, and also his Twitter. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. You and I talked about this before. You're on Twitter quite a bit. Is that right?
Yeah, I mostly, that's kind of my social of choice, is going through Twitter. And that's what I do for the TC program, is help on social, which is answering people's tweets when they go out and they tweet out, hey, this product isn't working or this isn't working. It gets aggregated into a program called Help on Social, and then we can see that, and then we can answer and tweet back. And so it's that's mainly what I do. So it's a lot of fun.
So stinking cool. I think that's awesome. And I talked to him a little bit right before we got in here, and I said, we're going to do another show probably on Help on Social, just so you can teach that and show that as well. So I'm going to leave that up on screen so you guys can see that down there. I want you guys to see that tweet and go tweet him, talk to him, tell him hey, and that kind of stuff. And I would say follow him, especially if you want to find out something about Pixel or Pixelbooks, right? I mean, that's what I would say.
Absolutely. Anything with Pixelbook, Pixels, anything Google, anything Project Fi, anything, those sort of things, just kind of keep up on, because I have the feeds going up. So whenever something comes out new that I let everybody know about, I retweet that so everybody can go out and see it. And
I love that. I love that because it's a lot easier following like you to do that, to get that, rather than wait on them or whatever. And then I have to go search all these different places. So that's kind of cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of its own. I kind of aggregate all that stuff together. I have it just enough set up to where when that stuff comes in, I'm able to just send it right back out to everybody else. Hopefully it seems like people appreciate it and use it. So
yeah, that's awesome. All right, real quick, I'm just going to show you off a little bit. Right here is his Twitter page. I'm showing everybody, the whole public there. You can see that's what it looks like when you get there. So anybody that wants to go out there and check that out. Here is his Google Plus page. When you see it, it's got the big sky background there with the sun shining. Must be a hometown picture you took.
No, it was actually, I think it's one of the stock ones, actually.
Okay. All right.
I think I went through and I never changed it.
Hey, at least you're honest. I love it.
I'm not going to lie and say that it was my picture, because it definitely was not.
Good stuff. All right, well, let's get right to it. Okay, what do you say? You ready to do that?
Absolutely.
I'm
here, man.
All right.
I'm excited.
Well, we're going to start off with, folks, we're going to show you actually what the Pixelbook looks like. So I'm going to show his phone, and he's going to take his Pixel phone, and I'm going to do it through TeamViewer. Some of you folks have seen that before, so you guys can tell me if you see it. I think you do see it because I see it. So I just want to make sure, and hold on, I have to make sure I share the right screen, so maybe they didn't see it. All right, he's showing the Pixelbook right here. This is it. Fire away. Go for it, dude.
Yep. So this is the Pixelbook. This is the i5 with 8 gigs of RAM, and there we can see ourselves, kind of Inception going in through there. So we're seeing ourselves. So we got an i5 in here with 8 gigs of RAM. We have this nice soft touch silicone kind of on both sides of the touchpad. Really nice, and it's kind of the same thing on the bottom that it has, but it's really nice to be able to put your hand on there when you're typing. It's really super soft. And then the trackpad, I mean, you can't have smoother glass than this trackpad, honestly.
That's awesome.
It's just, and you can see it's like edge to edge. There's nothing else around there.
Yeah.
Just all around edge.
God, I love the Pixel camera too, because that camera is showing a beautiful view of it. And you got to tell, I know I mentioned this, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it again. It does have the backlit keys.
Yep, it's got the backlit keyboard
Love it.
all the
I
way across,
love
which
it.
is pretty sweet. And then
Yep.
you can adjust, your lighting as usual. But when it gets dark, there's nothing like having the backlight. And then the cool thing with, if you can see the travel on these things, I mean,
Oh yeah. So you're
it's
just like
just
right on top of it. It's just right there.
yeah, just a little, but it's enough to where it's not clicky clacky. Like I don't know if some of
No,
you have
yeah.
seen
A tack
videos on
tack
those
keyboard.
MacBook Pros.
Yeah, tack
Yeah,
keyboard.
it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like that. They're like solid thuds, I guess what it was feels like with very little travel, but
Nice.
it's amazing to type on. I love typing.
Hey, I gotta. This is a buddy of yours, so I gotta bring this up and mention this.
Sure.
Technically speaking's out there. It's got to be peachy. He says
Oh,
little known
what's up?
little known fact. Ben is a TC and 58,000. No, five. I don't even know the number. 5,800,000 Google products. I knew you get appreciation out of that. All right, show some more of the Pixelbook. I'm sorry, I had to get that.
Yeah, so here, what's different with the Pixelbook here is, normally on the top right, you have your power button, but that's actually replaced with a menu button, as you can see there. So
Oh wow.
because it's that 360 hinge, you have your power button over here on this side.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the 360 hinge.
Yeah, and then you also have your volume rocker, and then these only have USB-C and two
Nice.
USB-Cs, one on either side. As you can see, I got one plugged in on either
Plugged
side.
in. Yep. Nice.
And those can both charge on either side. And you can also do video out on either side, 4K
that's
display.
so cool.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That is wonderful.
And then you got a headphone jack. That's the I/O on the device. And
That's
then
fantastic.
your screen, I mean, you got a 12.3 inch high res display.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now
It's really nice.
you got to show them what you got though, because you showed me the skins. You got to show them the skins.
I like the Pixelbook. It's good. It's good. But you got to bring in the Panda. So
I love it.
we moved it over to where now we have a Panda, which is a D brand skin. We got the dragon up here,
That's so cool.
and then we got the mat underneath it. And then I don't know if you can see the carbon fiber G. There you go.
Yeah, there
Carbon
it is.
fiber there.
You actually can pick up that a little bit. It's kind of neat. And the bottom too, right?
So, yeah, the bottom's got the dragon too. So it's the Dragon Panda book, man. That's how I rock it.
See,
So
that's me. I from using a Chromebook myself and the Pixel Flip. I had the Flip forever. I had to get a skin too, just for that reason, because they get too slick. I mean, it's just too much. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but you almost have to put that skin on there, and that looks bad. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I love it. I got to do it. And then, like I said, with the hinge, you got all the way flat.
Yeah, yeah.
You can make it all the way flat, and then if you want to, you could flip it and go all the way like a stand like that.
Oh, nice.
And then if you need a tablet, you just it's a tablet.
That is so cool.
And it's the first device that I've held that actually feels like it's not too thick. Like normally with the Chromebooks that flip into tablets, they're way too thick. No, not at all. Not even close. Let me set you down real quick.
Yeah, that's
so I can
fine.
get this back up. But
You just made everybody get a little nauseous. That's okay.
yeah,
No
sorry
worries.
about that. Sorry about that. It's like Blair Witch Project all over again, right?
It's all good. It's all good. So that's fantastic, man. That's awesome showing up.
Yeah, I mean, and with how thin it is, I mean, 10.3
Yeah.
millimeters.
Yeah, that is.
It only
that is
weighs
pretty
2.5 pounds.
incredible.
But
That's just
the
crazy.
display, go over some of the specs. So 12.3 inch display, 235 PPI, 2400 by 1600.
Wow, and a couple other acronyms too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Quad HD
So-
LCD. Yeah, you can see it right there. That's what I'm reading. Touchscreen display with pin support. We didn't even get into that.
Wow.
And then 400 nit display brightness. And like I said, this one's powered by the seventh gen Core i5. And then there's also an i7 that's there available. And then 8 or 16 gigs of RAM. Your storage is 128, 256, or 512.
So it's really
then-
as good as, I would say, as pretty much just a regular laptop. I mean, as far as speed and
It's-
everything else, I mean,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it matches specs with the Mac Pro easily.
Wow, that's
I mean, just with
crazy.
your storage, if you want bigger storage, I mean, you can go for the bigger one and you can do external, but and I mean, I mentioned here, right here, this fast charging, but this fast charging is ridiculous.
Really?
I mean, if it's low at 5%,
yeah.
you get in 15 minutes, you get 2 hours.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic.
It's amazing. So it's like with the battery draining and you're going through and then you're like, oh, I got to charge it. You charge it and then you turn around, the thing's full again. You're like, oh, this is pretty awesome.
Never mind. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Forget it. Never mind. So yeah. And then with that, we also talked about, we could talk about, so we can switch me off here and go back to the regular view. So I can talk about the pen for a bit.
Yeah, sure. All right.
All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody.
There you go.
Sorry for my shaky video. I'm just starting out. All right. I'm no technically speaking out there. Okay. So take it easy.
But also what's kind of cool, what's neat about this though, is you actually are using the Pixelbook right now to broadcast it to me. We're using Zoom to bring it into OBS, which I'm telling you, the video is pretty stinking awesome that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it's 720p display, but for 720p, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's
pretty good for the color correction and stuff. So
wonderful.
it does a good job.
Hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna throw a couple questions because a couple people were asking some stuff. So let me.
Yeah, bring it.
All right, let's get
absolutely happy to answer.
So let's talk about. Let's just recognize a couple people that are here tonight. This is kind of cool. Got Andrew Hatchett, of course. He's a buddy of mine. Ross from Australia. Ross Boundy. She's in from Australia. So that's very cool. Technically speaking, Gord Iceman, is here. I can't speak right now. Shirley Young, John Lincium, I think I pronounced
What's up,
that
Shirley?
Right. Yep, Shirley. She said, "Hey Ben." She said it for sure.
Hey.
It says, okay, so first question from John, what operating system?
Well, it runs Chrome OS,
okay,
which is stock to the native Chromebook, but we can switch right into that actually. So you can do that, but with just a quick line of Linux, what you can do here is, and I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
It bumps right into a full Linux environment, which is what I have right here. This is Ubuntu 14.04. So if you need Linux, it's just a quick terminal away. And then you're here in full Linux, and you can do anything in Linux like you can do with the other one. You can install whatever program you want over here. If some of you programmers are familiar, this is Eclipse. I'm actually taking in a computer science class right now, so I needed with the Pixelbook, it was perfect because I could download Java, download Eclipse, install it in Linux, and then I can come over here and do my code.
Now you're breaking up. Whenever you go over to Linux, as far as streaming goes, it starts to break up a bit. So you may be frozen on us. I think maybe you are. This happened the other day too. I wasn't sure how much or how this would work out. I'm gonna have to come off of him for just a second. Well, hopefully he'll get back. He'll get back in or whatever he needs to do. So. This kind of happened to us the other day when we were going through our stuff. There we go.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
So, and that happened to us the other day as well. I mean, the same.
Yeah, I was hoping I have it loaded, it would be able to do that. So that was my fault. My apologies. So you can just switch back over to your Chrome OS, and you can do like I have a note-taking app over here. It's called Squid. So if I go through and...
Are you sharing again, or are you just talking about it?
I need to go and do that. So let me show you. So we'll go just into that application. Maybe not. There we go.
All right.
So
you got it.
This is what Squid looks like. So it's a note-taking app. So the nice thing is you can use your finger, and that is your eraser, which is pretty sweet.
So he's using his finger as the eraser. So it's breaking up a little bit just because we're doing so much. It's probably on my end too. Okay. So I'm just letting you know. It's really kind of cool. So what he's saying is you can erase with your finger. You don't necessarily have to use the pen. And I just think that's so interesting how it determines which is which.
Yep. And then with the pen that we have here, and that's also an accessory that you can purchase separately, $100, but totally worth it. It brings that Pixelbook up to a completely different level. So you got, it's not thin and light and like toothpicky like those Samsung.
Yeah, or the ones you put inside of like a iPod you used to. Remember how you used to do that?
Yes, exactly. So this is sturdy. It feels about the size of a regular pencil.
Wow.
And you can write with it and write on the screen, and you can do everything you need to. And then there's this a button on there. I don't know if you can, there we go. I don't know if you
Oh
can see
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
The button on there will cause your assistant to open up. So if you want to open up something with on your assistant, and when you're going through and you're searching for something, let me do my screen here again.
Okay.
Going back and forth here. There we go. So if we're searching down here and we want to search for something with the NFL, so I take it, I grab the pen, I hold the button as I circle it, and then in the left,
It immediately opens up the assistant and puts that information
opens
in
that
there.
up. Find that. But let's see. We can go like New England Patriots. I don't know.
Yeah. So he highlights it, circled it.
Yeah. So highlight it, and there you go. It'll bring up the New England Patriots. It'll bring there Google, news, images, roster, all that good stuff, which is really, really slick.
That's fantastic.
Really awesome. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to have that option. And then as I'm going through, like taking my notes, I can just write on the screen.
That's so cool. There you go. And you have your hand rested on the glass right now too, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it has the palm rejection, all that stuff all built in. And so it's pretty cool. And with this app, you can color, and there's some other cool things you can do in that app. But that's kind of the quick overview on how, what the Pixelbook is, what it can do, and what that pen is. And like I said, this is a definite accessory that you need to have. And they have, because you mentioned earlier about having to dock it or stuff, they have these called it's done by Bellroy, and it's a pin clip. So this slides into it.
Oh yeah.
And then it hooks onto the side of the Pixelbook.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So if you need it, it's there. And if you don't, and then also there, 2 weeks ago, I think, there was I think one of the articles, I can't remember who it was, sent out that Google was giving away the free Pixelbook Loop pen, or the Pixelbook pen Loop. So you just had to go to a certain website, put in your serial number, and they're going to send you a free loop. So I haven't seen it yet.
And that becomes important too, having a place to keep that pen, because I'm sure at $100 you don't want to lose it.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, it's not square, so it rolls on tables very well, and it's fallen from distances, and you just don't want to do that. So you want to get one of those like clips that they have here, or get a case. There's a couple on the Google store that can slide and stuff. So yeah. So in the long end of that, Chrome OS, and then you can have Linux on there too.
Yeah,
that's a long.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's go into a couple more questions here, because I've got a couple that were pretty good, I think. Let's see. Just so I can find them. How does the keyboard wear with using it as a base? You know what I'm saying? And I know you haven't had it that long, but I'm just curious, or we're just curious, I guess. Probably don't.
Yeah. Well, can you go back to the team viewer?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, I can. And
tell me when you're.
I'm there.
Okay. So as you can see, when you look at the pads, do you see how there's a gap?
Oh yeah. Down at the bottom.
So it's set up from the bottom. Okay. And then also, if you look over here, there's another gap.
Oh, it's raised, so that way the keyboard doesn't really touch.
When you set it on whatever you're setting it on, okay. So whenever you set it on whatever device or whatever, table or whatever, it doesn't lay on the keyboard at all.
Wow, that's awesome.
Those are your points of contact, or those 4 on that side that keep it just a little bit raised up above it. But even with that and all the places I've put it on, I've never had any dings or anything like that with the on the keyboard. So it seems to be holding up really well.
Great. Gord asks there, hey Gord, nice to see you out here. How does it perform for doing something like video rendering? Have you done any of that? Have you done any of that kind of thing and that sort of thing?
No, Gordon, that's a good question. I haven't done any video rendering. That's not something that I've been doing lately.
Right.
I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I have my computer class, and I have the the Google things that I take care of and things like that. So I haven't done any video rendering in it, and so that is a great question. I would assume with the specs and the power that it has, that it would be able to run pretty much whatever you need. I mean, it's just like having a Mac Pro or a MacBook Pro rather,
Yeah.
type of specs, but it's just in this different OS with it. So if it's able to run it, then I don't think it'd be having any problems with it.
Yeah. It's just a matter, like, it depends on the software too, I'm sure, because you can't download software on it. Is that correct? It's only apps and Chrome.
Correct. So you have Chrome OS, which is just like it's just a regular Chromebook, just like before. And then now recently, when it got announced, and Chromebook or Android apps have been there for about a year, maybe a little bit more. So it came natively with that. So if there's an app on the Google Play Store that's available, the nice thing here, let me go back to sharing my screen again, is you do one of these. You go down here and you go to Play Store, and then there you go.
Okay.
Might be, not optimized this device, but I mean, just go and download what you want. I mean, it's the same store as on all Android phones or tablets. So you can just go in here and take it and download it. And if there's, video editors, if there's one for Android that ends up working really well for you, you can easily go through, use it, and download it, and it'll end up working great for you. So having Android just opens it up even more and makes it even more powerful than I feel a normal Windows machine. Because with the Windows machine or the MacBook machines, you don't have those sort of apps with it.
Yeah.
You have programs, but apps you have the whole million plus apps that are available for you on the Google Play Store versus the other apps that are set aside. So,
and they're having a kind of a conversation out there on their own, but basically, Andrew said the problem is finding a really good video editing program to run on the Chrome operating system. And technically speaking, Peachy says, yeah, Andrew, that is the number one issue, and they know that. I think they know that.
Absolutely.
But
yeah. And I mean, if you think about it, it's just a part that hasn't been touched yet, because you just look where Chromebook started. You had the CR48 that you could apply for, and you got it for free, and it was so basic. You're just like, wow, this is so basic. And then once everything moved more online, it was just like everybody else. Everything moved more online, and I'm like, why do I have this full operator? Why am I booting up Windows that takes me 5 minutes when I can turn it on and I'm on the web and I'm going?
Right.
And the transition takes some initiative to say, look, I'm going to do it and I'm going to go all in with it. But once you go all in with it, forget it. It's so easy. I've been Chromebooks only for 6+ years.
And fast. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like you said, the loading and shutdown, start, all that. You don't have to wait on anything. You don't have to wait on updates. You don't have to wait on all those things that you have to do. I'm talking mainly from a Windows machine because I don't use Mac. But yeah, that is just incredible. That's a big deal. I mean, that really is a big deal. But I also see there's a place for both. You do need the other one for, heavy video editing and all that kind of stuff that a lot of people do and stuff. I get it. I mean, there is a place for both. But shoot, day to day, I'm right there with you. I love walking around with my flip it over into a tablet, and I'm using it just like a tablet with my, I have a pen that has the end where you can just put it. Goodness, dude, it's just so much easier.
Yeah, and all it is just think about Chromebooks before, where it's just browser based, and now they're bringing more and more features to Chrome. And then they opened up the Play Store, and that just opens it up even more.
Yep.
And then if they come up with an app, or because a lot of these big companies are making cloud-based editing, like Photoshop and things like that. When you look at the tiny amount of people that have those, that's just going to be that little extra gap that people will either decide to make or they won't. But you can have 95 to 98% of what you do every single day, unless you work on specifically in editing or like cryptocurrency or something crazy like that, where you need that sort of power. You can do it all. I mean, you check your email in Chrome, you go to apps to check your socials, you play games in the browser or the Android apps. I mean, it's just built up so much and made it that much more towards the future that it seems like the people that limit themselves by and this is my opinion, I think people limiting themselves to being in that environment when they could easily transition, I just think you're going to be just end up left behind.
Yeah, I agree. And look, the schools are all doing it. I mean,
Look
they
at
caught
what
on.
Chromebooks
They caught on
schools.
to. They
Huge.
caught on to it. Yeah, last year they came out with a stat that Chromebooks are in more schools than any other computer right now, including in the offices. So, and my thing is at work, even at work, I'll be honest with you, I use the Chrome browser, but I also use the Flip both because we do have to have some things. But I'm people send me Excel spreadsheets. I convert it to a Google sheet, send it right back as an Excel sheet because they refuse to switch over. But I agree with you. I love the fact somebody asked me, he said, "Oh, I think it was Gord actually. Gord and I were in a conversation the other day, and we were collaborating. He says, "Do I have to save?" I was like, "No, dude, it's saved." He said, "Are you serious?" So, it's fun doing that kind of stuff. And that's what I like. You know what? They put a lot of thought into it. They made it it's very fast and it's very user friendly. And you can be afraid of somebody like we had a spreadsheet where everybody's interacting on it. And I don't mean to get totally off subject because this does relate to the Pixel though. And it does relate to it using it. We were all in the same document. We could go to revision history and go back to when it wasn't messed up anymore and fix it. But anyway, back onto the Pixel. I'm sorry. I could get on tangents talking about tech and stuff forever. So
no, it's good, man. It's good. I think the same thing. I mean, you made a good mention of Word, and that's why people come back to that. Oh, Word and Excel. Have you heard of Office 365? That's online. Have you heard of recently? Microsoft just released all the Android apps that'll be compatible with Chromebooks now. So you can get Microsoft Office, Word, all those PowerPoint, Excel that are Android apps. Now they run on your Chromebook because your Chromebook run apps too.
That's fantastic.
So, I mean, there are those things that are central to that, but really, this sort of device. I mean, I can just tell you what my workflow is. So I'm sitting in class, taking my notes. I have it flipped back as a tablet, and I'm taking notes with my pen. Okay, in Squid, right? So I'm taking notes, and then the instructor's like, "All right, well, now let's try this code." So I flip it back. I switch to Linux, and now I'm in there coding, and I'm trying the code, and it's working. And I'm like, "All right, cool, this is cool." And he's like, "All right, so let's go on to the next thing." Flip it back. And then again, it's right on my lap and I'm writing in it like a tablet again. I mean, it's the multi-use device just for, again, those 90% of things. Like, that's why I got it, because I know that I've run Chromebooks forever. I've wanted a quality device. I'm willing to pay for a quality device. And the 360 hinge with Android apps and the pen, I mean, it just makes it so much versatile to where you can do so many different things in it. And it's so incredibly powerful, and it's got storage for whatever I want. If I want to download a whole series of movies or Netflix, I mean, all those apps that you run on your phones, they have the same thing. You can download offline movies and do all that stuff. So it has that storage available, or if you do have that Linux environment too.
Yeah, it has that capability. So that's wonderful. That is so awesome. Hey, let's talk a little bit about the phone. You want to share the screen on your phone so that way we can see what that looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Let me get to that screen real quick, and we will get over to, there we go. All right, good.
Looking at it?
Yep.
All right, well, here, let me go. Let me do the outside first. So we have a Pixel 2, okay? Mm-hmm. It is a 64 gig, and as you can see, I'm kind of a skin person. So this is the blue.
We got a theme going.
Yeah, and it's got the dragon, so the same type of theme up there, but it's just a reversed. And so just like Michael and I were talking the other day about, needing to have a skin for grip, really, because these
Mhm.
phones that they make now are all glass and aluminum, and man, they're so slippery, so incredibly slippery. So, and that's all I want is just a little something just to grip it better, and that's what
Nice.
makes this so nice, is just being able to have some protection against, scraping against things or corners,
Mhm.
um, but not having a full type case. And then also on the bottom, we got our nice multicolored G
Mhm.
for Google.
Nice. I love it.
So, all right, hold on. Let me get the kids running again.
It's all right. They wanted to send their contributions.
Yeah, they did. They did. It's funny when I do hangouts with on the products,
Uh-huh.
they're honorary TCs, and so like, have they signed NDAs? I'm like, yes, they signed NDAs. Good.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. I mean, this is just my home screen. Nothing too special about it. They do have the live wallpapers, which are all pretty cool, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen before, where if you look right in the center, you can see those balloons are actually moving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, got you.
So it's just the little things there in the background, just like the waves
Waves
crashing.
coming up. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so you set that, and I mean, it's still, you don't notice it until you just take a quick look at it, and then you're like, oh, look at that. But it's awesome. It's awesome. I love those.
All right,
Um,
so let's see here. Also, you got to talk about the squeeze because you told me about that the other day. I'm like, what? What are
yes.
you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So they have, how they have it set up is they have sensors inside right here on the frame. So when you squeeze it, it'll bring up the assistant.
Hang on a second. Let me show you. Hold on. Okay, right there. Okay, so now I'm showing you. I was showing the screen share because I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Now,
Sorry, I'll give you a heads up.
Now you're good. No, you're fine. Now you're good.
Okay. So if you can see down by the home button, the circle there in the bottom, if you squeeze, you can start to see it responds to that squeezing.
Oh yeah, squeeze the sides. Yep.
Yeah. So you just squeeze it, and the phone doesn't give. There's no anything like that that just does it. But you just squeeze it, and that'll invoke your assistant right there. Oh, there you go.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand either. That doesn't make sense. But super handy. When I first saw it demonstrated on, I think it was HTC U11. I think I was like, oh, here we go, another gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get it in your hands, changes it. Like I invoke the assistant more using that squeeze than anything else because your hand's already right there. It's like putting the fingerprint sensor on the back. That's where your hand falls when you pick up the phone.
Yep.
Same thing when you're picking it up and you're looking at it, you don't have to do anything. You just squeeze it.
I was just going to ask you that because,
up.
I have the original Pixel and I use that fingerprint sensor. I swear to goodness, that was the best thing they ever came out with. And I was going to ask you that, is this just like that? Like it's just becomes natural for you. I mean,
it really has. I mean, you don't have to think about it. It does take a little bit to say, oh, that's right. That's what, I need to remember to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you get into that habit of it, you're pulling out your phone, you're unlocking it, and you can do all that in one motion. Like you're pulling it out of your pocket, you squeeze it, and it's already ready. And it's already listening to you.
That's so cool.
So, I mean, you don't even have to do anything, where on the normal lock screens, you can have your lock screen like this, where you have to invoke it swiping from the left over here to do it. But when you can have it already there and then you just squeeze it, I mean, it's so easy. Easy.
That's nice.
So I hope it's a feature that they keep, because it's not something you think about until you use it. And once you use it, then it's the easiest way to invoke the assistant. Easiest. Instead of saying your okay key phrase. I don't want to set everybody's thing off because it definitely sets all mine off. So I don't want to do that to everybody. I've learned from other people's mistakes. Technically speaking.
I love doing that. I do that all the time. I'm like, okay. That's hilarious. That's good stuff. I really do appreciate that. That's some good information too. It's so cool. Great stuff. If they come up with any other questions, we'll get to that. We're about 40 minutes in, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through my stuff. I'm gonna talk about we're going to do tech in the news, and then we're going to go to sneak a peek for next week. And then afterward, we'll answer some questions. Anybody that is a member to our paid for community, you're welcome. I'll have the link in the community. You guys can come in and talk to Ben afterward. I already talked to him about that. He says he wants to. The only problem is, he said he loves to talk tech, so we might be on till about midnight or something, which is fine for me because to him, midnight is nothing because it's 2 hours difference.
That's right. Not Eastern time.
Yeah,
Let's say
right.
that.
That's
Not
right.
Eastern time where I'm at.
I know everybody out there is probably laughing because they know me in Eastern, so they know how that is. So, all right, let me get right into. Let's go up to. I'm going to go into. Hey, this is in the tech news. It's actually in the news. The blue moon, and look at all these different pictures. I just pulled these up. This is like 5 days ago, 1 day ago, all this kind of stuff, and all these pictures of people showing the blue moon is going on and all that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff. A lot of people taking pictures with their pixels. I saw in the Pixel community, tons of people doing that as well, putting those pictures up there. Some really cool pictures this year too. And next in the news, Google is now using machine learning to predict flight delays. Tell me that's not crazy. I saw that the other day. I was like, oh my God, that's just nuts. So yeah, it is awesome. So they got that. And the next thing is you can now use Alexa to send SMS messages. That's crazy if you've got an Android phone. So wanted to show that one.
Be nice.
Yeah, that's cool. And this is like, I saw this like 10 hours ago. This is just crazy. Google Assistant will soon beat Alexa in one big way. You know what they're talking about? Do you remember what it was? It was, let's see, based on the app features and first smartphone app that likely make the matter of function. Okay, so here's the deal. This is so crazy. If you use Google Assistant, your opinions to get its attention are pretty limited, like either OK Google or Hey Google. But soon, you'll be able to call whatever you want. Yay! We've been screaming for that forever. I know everybody that's been screaming about this, so that's going to be cool. I can't wait. That's going to be a fun
That'll be
time.
interesting to see, when you see everybody out, because you can hear the OK Google.
Yes.
I got mine going. My bad.
You did it. You did it.
I did it. I did it. Let's, just to hear all the different ones. I'm sure there's going to be countless Jarvises and other things out there. So we'll see how that's going to go. It'd be nice to have the option to change it. Me, I'm really not too concerned about it. So.
There you go.
And I can see where people would on it. And I've seen it a lot in some of the forums and on social, people asking about wanting to change, like on Google Home, changing the name of it. So.
Right. I know it was my turn. I did it this time. Because I was reading it. I shouldn't have read it. I should have said, Lowell Land's out there saying, okay, you did it. You did it to my. That's right. All right. And then sneak a peek at next week. All right, next week, I'm going to have Gord Eisman on next week. He is a Camtasia expert by far. So he's going to come on next week, and we're going to see streaming, see if it'll come back up, see if they'll see me. I don't know if it'll come back on live or not, but let's see what happens. It says I'm live. I don't know. You guys can let me know out there if you see me live or not. That'd be fine. Let's see here. Appreciate you getting in the chat with them, but
yeah, absolutely. That's what I first jumped in and let them know that they got the power outage. So we were talking about. Yep, we got back.
All right, good. Back. So we're back. Awesome. My goodness. Anyway, it was right when I was going to announce that Gord's going to be on next week. So Gord, I'm not going to announce it again because something blew up whenever I did that. No, I'm just all in fun.
Apocalypse or something.
That's right. That was weird. Power went out, blinked, and then went straight to that. Anyway, all right. So, folks, I just want to let you know, thank you so much for coming. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to be in this Zoom room right here. I'm going to invite members of the community, invite them in. They can come in and chat with us. Ben, thank you so much. You don't know how much I really do appreciate this and you coming on and doing this. So.
No, man, the thanks is all towards me. I mean, I really appreciate you reaching out, and I love talking tech. So I hope I hope maybe in the future we can come back and we can talk more tech.
Yeah, me too. I really do, and I'm sure of it. We will. I guarantee you that. All right,
Awesome.
folks. I'm gonna run the closing credits, and anybody that wants to come on in that is out there, you're more than welcome to come on in on the community that is in our paid for community. Thanks, folks. Thanks again, Ben.
Thanks, everybody.